Okay. Uh, Hello, everybody. So today is October 17th, 2024. Uh, Welcome to Sacred Store CSI community meeting. This call is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. Uh, and today, I think Ben has opted to do both moderation and notes. So with that, I think I'll just hand it over to you, Ben.
Sounds good. All right. Let's see how well I can speak and talk through the list and also take notes on it. That sounds exciting. Um, I dropped in the announcement CSI driver release 146 cut on October 9th because that was something we mentioned last time as a future thing. So looks like it's a now past thing. So go team. Very exciting. Um, Agenda, then I think we can jump straight into that, right? There's a number of discussion items already in here. First one. I think other meetings have our passcode. Maybe we want to update the Google Calendar just to have that so people, if they're trying to join, can get in. I remember, I think Milek, I had to ping you for it last week or last two
Yeah,
weeks
I
ago.
think, yeah, I think everybody like when there is when it's the first time they usually ping. But I think we can add that and that should be okay. Host code is something we don't share, so
Right,
so that it's because it has like greater power, I guess.
right. That makes sense. Um, Figured that was worth putting in here. Okay, and then a couple of PRs to go through. So there was add S3 on DX, PPC 64, LE support. That was who opened that?
Right. So
Um,
I can give a little bit background on that. Like we can open a PR, but somebody from the community added that PR, and they are from IBM, I believe, and they wanted to add this support. But then I have seen another thread in like Upstream Cube where they're dropping the support of this particular uh, distros basically. So I wanted to just bring that up and just check with everybody that, hey, is it okay that do we want to basically support this or not? Or is it okay if we not support it? So I did some digging around in our code, and I don't think this will affect us because these are not we are not using them as a base images, and maybe Anish is there. So Anish, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we can still support this because we use like bookworm as our base image to build and distribute, I guess.
Yeah, the my only thought there was I think whatever Cube is doing, we should do the same thing. Just because if Kubernetes is not releasing for those architectures, then users have to custom build, right? I
Right.
think we because this is a SIGAUT sub-project, we could have the same stance basically and tell users if they need additional architectures, they can build it. But because we don't test or do anything with it, we don't have to build it.
Right. Yeah, and I sort of had the same thought before, but I believe when I was reading this thread, and maybe my memory is little fuzzy here, but uh, they were saying that I don't think they are entirely. I'm not sure. Like, okay, maybe I can just go and read that. But what I remember is, uh, as long as it's not, as long as they are not base images, they should be fine. But maybe I can go back and read it again. But yeah, if
The
it's that's the case, sorry.
sorry, no, no,
So what I was saying is like I sort of totally on the same page with that. Like if the upstream cube is not supporting, we can just stay with the similar guidelines there.
yeah, I think the gist that I was getting is mostly around the Go support and all of that as well, right? Like in
Right.
terms of building the images. So I think if they figure out and decide this is what we want to do, we can basically just follow everything that they're following in this
Yeah,
case.
makes sense. Okay. I see Ben is having some comments in there, but uh, yeah, I want to still keep this open because I don't think they have arrived at the discussion. I mean, arrived at the conclusion yet. I can check back again. But if they're deprecating it, we can just close this PR. I'll add notes there.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it said they have stopped, effective immediately, stopped producing.
Okay.
But it could be worth reading this in detail just to make
Oh,
sure.
this is the recent one. Okay, okay. I'll go check that. Okay.
Yeah, 3 days ago. But yeah, I just left the comment there again and a link to that so we can revisit if we like. Or call it good now.
If you scroll down, there's actually more discussion. I think there's more to this. I don't know if they're posting in this thread or somewhere else, but there was a lot of discussion back and forth around supporting it. Let me
Mhm.
find that and post it here.
I was expecting to see more here too, because I know I've seen emails with.
Right, me too. So maybe it's just email updates then.
Yeah, maybe this is just the final formal like sign off saying this is what we're doing, without all the conversation attached.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we can
I find
come
it,
back to
but
this.
yeah, that's what I was.
Missed that.
Oh, I'm saying that we can continue the discussion on comments, and once we have everything, maybe we can appropriately mark that as close. So I can take that as an action item and do it.
All right. Sounds good. Topic. Document auto restart of pods on secret rotation. Uh,
Right.
even
So Ivan just I think pinged over the Slack that he'll not be able to join, but I think it's just a matter of reviewing the PR. And I was looking at it, and I think Ben, you were having some comments over it, right?
I did. I commented like, should we link out to something that's not formal from our official docs? And is this really a good docs topic, or is this more of like a blog post, like, hey, this is how I solve this particular problem, or the tone of it was kind of what I was curious about.
I think it's still worth having this into our documentation, but maybe we can figure it out. I don't know whether this is a good troubleshooting guide kind of a thing where you can just say like, hey, this is how we do the restart. But regardless of that, I still feel this should be in our website.
Mhm. The concept, at least for sure, maybe.
What do you think, Anish, where we can put this?
Yeah, so I think it's fine to reference it here, and then we just have to explicitly call out that this is not like officially supported or even tested, right? So like we can just say like, hey, folks in the community have done something like this, and then add that in under that section. But that's fine because even if you look at the reloader stuff, we do the same thing, right? We basically
Right,
reference it, but we don't actually test it. We don't do any E2E tests. We have validated it once, but that's just a suggestion to the user. So,
right. Uh, which section you're referring to, Anish? Like this
uh,
particular one?
yeah, in this one, if you look there, we have that reloader, right? Like at line number 9. So we say, hey, you can go use a reloader
Hmm,
that'll restart your deployments
I
after
see.
updates to Kubernetes secret. And this one, like this PR, basically that user is just adding another controller that they custom built. We just
Hmm.
have to make it explicit that none of these are supported and these are just like suggestions on things they could use.
Right, right. And I think I don't see a note in there, but maybe we can ask Yvonne to add that note for like a common note maybe.
Yeah.
Uh Ben, since you are commenting, do you mind like or did you already did? Like just have a comment there saying like, hey, we can add this here, but could you also have a generic note? Okay,
Not
perfect.
supported or
Okay,
tested.
cool.
Happen.
Awesome. And
Is
then maybe we can
do
just
we,
update him on Slack saying that, hey, we have few comments on your PR. Just take a look.
do y'all have any concerns about the idea, like creating another controller to watch for updates on secrets or config maps. Is there any
So
security posture around that where we're like, is that a good idea to encourage people to do that? Just pondering it a second.
No, so I don't think we're asking them to build, right? That project, that reloader already watches all of that.
yeah.
And it was built for not secret source, yes, or whatever. It was built for general purposes, right? Like
Mhm.
they were using it for config, but they didn't have file watcher and they could just use this to like automatically restart. This PR is specifically for a new controller that the community member built that watches the custom resource that we publish, which is called the secret product class pod status. And they are using it specifically only in the mount scenario, right? So if you mount it, the driver generates the secret product class pod status with the version of the secrets that's mounted. And what they're doing is they're using this controller to watch and see, oh, a newer version is available, but my app does not implement file watcher logic. So I'll go restart it so that it can pick up the newer mount.
Okay, cool.
That's not exactly what we recommend. Like, if you look at the rotation docs, our recommendation is you enhance your application to use file watching logic, right?
Right.
But not everyone has control over the code. So,
Mhm.
and
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like if you're running a third party app of some kind and you can't do that or whatever, then you need to work around. Okay, that sounds good. You want to move on then to use requires republish and secret
Yeah.
rotation?
Abhijit, I didn't get a chance to review it. Sorry, I'm like sort of bogged down with a lot of other stuff. But I have given first pass and I think you have addressed those comments. So I am going to take a look at that. Uh for the Oh, do you have anything on this before I move on to your next peer?
No, just that I am using the last modification time to check the next rotation time, and the other constraint here would be the minimum rotation period will be more than a minute because kubelet will uh, uh, call the not published volume every minute and plus some jitter in between. So even if customer put the let's say user put rotation of interval is equal to 30, it it will be the more than a minute, just more than a minute.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
and I think that we can think about it, right? Because there is no other way we can do sooner.
yeah,
Um, And also 30 seconds is very aggressive. Like I think the reason some users were setting it to like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds is the only if you're using the driver to sync as Kubernetes secret, the only
yeah,
way you can like, actually update that Kubernetes secret is by having rotation enabled because only the rotation controller is allowed to update. But given we are doing sync controller as a separate project, I don't think there is a compelling use case to update the mount
yeah,
every 10 seconds.
yeah. And for the same reason, I have modified the rotation interval in our E2E test.
I see.
So only this slip has been increased. All the logic, so all the behavior is as earlier.
Right.
So there is no
And
change in the behavior. Yeah,
right. Cool. And I've not looked at your changes yet, but I had concern about the sleep duration that you are increasing. So is it also because of the same thing in our
yeah.
batch
For the
test?
rotation, yeah. Earlier it was 40 seconds, and within 40 seconds you can't expect a secret to be rotated.
Yeah, that makes
Uh,
sense. My only thing over there is I think tests are passing, so we should be good, but we have a default timeout there. But if it starts failing, maybe we know why, and then we have to go in
uh,
test and try and maybe increase the timeout.
Sorry, what is default timeout?
I need to check, but Anish, do you know at the top of your head? But in test infra PR, where we run all these jobs, we have a timeout set for this.
Yeah, yeah. So it is within that time. So okay. The thing is, earlier I was using some different logic where I was not. So I was using some config to set the next rotation time, but it was failing as soon as we have multiple secret provider classes.
Mm,
So the time was not able to get updated. and it was using the same time for all the secret provider classes. So at that time, I faced the issue, and while debugging, I was trying to increase the sleep to debug it further, and even the that archive info calls are part of the debugging. And the
Okay.
other thing, I kept some of the archive info call because this is the new feature. And let's say if we have any failure, so we have that artifact ready.
Yeah, okay. I think that sounds good to me. Should be fine. I was just curious whether was it like
Yeah,
accidental or not, but makes
yeah.
sense. Okay.
And I tested it manually also, like adding some logs, like when we are rejecting the node publish volume call and giving the default response when the time is not reached. Like if we have the rotation interval like 3 minutes, I have verified those scenarios manually.
But can we add test for those?
Yeah, I guess so. One thing we can do just after secret mount, we can have sleep for let's say we have rotation period of 2 minutes. We will sleep for let's say 1 minute, and after 1 minute it should not be rotated. And then after the sleep 60, but okay, the only caveat then we have to align with our actual timeout from the test infra, where our pro job has the timeout defined.
So so I think let's do this. Let's add this test cases as a part of our E2E, and then let's figure it out whether we need to increase the timeout or not. I don't think we need to be constrained unless there is some like an Uber level timeout from the test infra itself. Anish, do you
Yeah.
know like if there is such thing? I think we can increase the timeout in our
You can
jobs.
define timeouts per job, so you're fine. And then also, if you look at the Windows jobs stuff, right, we have like 45 minutes timeout because it takes time to build the cluster and all of that.
Yeah.
So
Okay, should
by
be good
increasing
then.
this timeout to 30, we are not going to delay the CI anyways. Like we still have to wait for that Windows one to complete.
Okay.
Ah,
So
okay.
what I will modify this test only instead of having one more test and having more time to be consumed. So here, after the first clip, the secret should not be rotated, and after the time has elapsed, the secret should be rotated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
Cool.
yeah, I will add.
And what about you mentioned the thing about the failure case that you mentioned, right? About node publishing not happening correctly. I mean, rejecting correctly. You were mentioning that you tested that as well manually, right?
Sorry, I guess there was some network issue.
So
Yeah,
you were mentioning one more test case. You said you tested manually, right? Where you
uh,
were trying to see the reject
okay.
scenario, I think, or test the reject scenario.
Uh, so assume you just mounted the secret and you said the rotation period is equal to 30 seconds.
Hmm? Oh,
No, sorry,
I got the scenario.
sorry.
I was curious whether can we also have a
Oh,
test for that?
yeah. No, this will cover that. Let's say you have the rotation period of 2 minutes. So kubelet will call the node publish volume just after 1 minute after the initial mount.
Right.
After the mount, it will say that it is not the time for the rotation yet because a user has set the rotation period of 2 minutes. So we will return the default node publish volume response. We
Yeah,
don't go toward the provider and ask the give me this secret content. We will
correct.
just return. It is not rejection. It is like default response,
Yeah,
returning the default
yep,
response.
got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And there might be some follow-up CLs after that for the cleanup because after this we don't need some extra permission like service account token creation. I guess there are some, yeah, those things we don't need.
Yeah, we don't need
Right.
those because I
Yeah,
mean
so I
we
will.
would still need those until actually, yeah, we don't need it. I think the sync anyways doesn't need it. Only the rotation reconciler needs it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I will remove that as a next follow-up CR PR along with the documentation part, like this thing coming from this, how to use this, some
right.
examples. Benjamin has one concern regarding this will break the existing customer. So Benjamin, we discussed that in like 1 month back. So Anish also agreed on that, that if the customer is using the older Kubernetes version, they can use the older driver version, and for the other customer, they can just opt for the newer version.
Oops.
Okay, cool. Uh, could you open those follow-up issues so that we have our tracking?
What's that?
Oh, I was asking Abhijit, like if you can open up the follow-up issues for docs and the removal of permission so that we have something uh, uh, to track.
Sorry, do you want me to add an item there in our doc to like action item only?
I was asking if you could open issues in our repo.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay, got it. I will create the issue. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah, you can note it quick as a to-do here, or I don't know if you want to just do those quick.
I will do this right now. So no need to add there.
Awesome.
Yeah, something so that we won't forget that and it will be there
Yeah,
and
sure.
we can plan for the releases and things like that.
Yeah. Sounds good. Y'all want to move on?
Yeah, I can also talk about this pair and I'm kind of confused, but and maybe Anish, I need your opinion on this. So after upgrading the test metrics, so okay, so this is like the pretty simple PR, and I think this PR is also passing the uh, uh, all the CI that we have, and this is also passing after I upgraded the metrics in the test infra, and we have the proper way to a proper kind version we are testing this with. And I think this PR is passing, which I was expecting that it might also fail because of the issue that you have created, right? But I don't know why I'm not able to replicate it here. So I was thinking maybe if we can just merge this and the other capabilities pair that we have that is still failing. So I think Alex or Umar, they're working on that. So I'm not sure if we should block this PR per se.
All right, let me take a look and see. I haven't looked
Yeah.
at this one.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I had LGTM this one, but then I canceled it, expecting it to be fail as well, but it didn't.
So you're saying it's passing for even the 28 one without a custom kind
Correct.
control?
Correct.
That's interesting. Okay. Let me look at it today.
Right. Okay.
All right. Done with that then. So up to topic. Can we
So
restrict avoid misuse of service account? Do we have an elaboration on that at all?
Abhijit, do you want to sort of elaborate? I think I have an idea what you're talking about, but I'm
Yeah,
curious
sorry,
what you
I
have
was
in mind.
reading that. Okay. The thing is, I don't have much context around this sync controller, but the thing, uh, when we deploy our this sync controller on a cluster, it might, okay, right now we are calling the patch method, which can also update the secret. But how we are going to make sure that it is not updating the secret beyond it meant to be updated? Let's say there is a or existing secret Kubernetes secret there, and by some misconfiguration or anything, it is updating the that secret. Or let's say there is some attack, and the attacker wants to get the secret or do some uh, malicious operation on the secret to turn this down by just simply injecting a YAML, deploying a secret sync object. How we are going to provide the restriction
Right.
around that?
So we are validating the hash of the content for the secret. Like we are checking whether with hash, we are actually checking whether the secret have changed or not. And if that hash is unchanged, we are not updating the
No,
secret.
no, not that. So we have the permission to create or update any secret in the Kubernetes on this
Oh, I
cluster,
see.
right?
Okay. So, okay, I think if you look at the our installation, right? So we have WAP policies, and we have restrictions on what type of secrets the controller is allowed to create. So that is what it should restrict on the different types of secret it may or may not create.
Uh,
So
okay,
there are
and
multiple levels, right? In the WAPs, basically we restrict what service accounts it generates a token for, and then even with the WAP, we validate the audience matches like the request and all of that, right? And then also like Nilek said, in terms of the secrets it updates, the user has the option to configure what type of secrets the sync controller is allowed to create or update. But even during the update flow, like we do server-side apply, right? And in we have a WAP policy which actually checks that when it's trying to update it, it's only updating secrets that have a certain label that was added by the controller. And it doesn't go and just update any random secret that the user wants.
okay, yeah, thanks. The other question sorry, I forgot to document here. So I was going through the deployment manifest. So we're having a single provider container, right? So does this mean that we are going to restrict that sync controller should work with single provider only?
No. The provider is
Big,
uh, it's a sidecar, right? So you can basically deploy every provider as a sidecar, and they're all listening on different Unix domain sockets. So it's exactly the same as driver, but instead of running as separate daemon sets, it's all running in one pod, but just as a different sidecars.
okay, yeah, thanks.
I think this also sort of uh, touched base the next discussion topic over there is, and I think Alex has it. I think he has reported some bug, which again I have not got a chance to talk about. Alex, do you want to sort of expand on it?
Yeah, sure. So at the point you were saying, when you reapply a secret, we check if the hash has changed, and if it has, we will re-reconcile. But we don't actually recalculate the hash. We compare the hash against itself. So we never re-update. We never reconcile on a reapply. Is what I was saying.
I see. Okay. Ah, okay. I'll take a look at the flow. Sorry, I know you have been created for a while now, but
That's fine.
I'll try to find some time to look at this.
Yeah, but there's lots of solutions. I just gave the easiest, just always re-reconcile on an update because it'll short circuit partway through the reconcile anyway. But you could also actually recalculate the hash, but that would be a bit more work. Yeah.
I mean, we recalculate hash like in the happy path scenario already. I'm just curious if we need to alter the logic. So just to add that, I'm curious. What's the trade-off here? The approach that you have suggested and recalculation. So I'll I'll take a look on that. Cool. Uh, I think we have gone through all the discussion items, but I also see Marcelo here, and we talked about sort of some of the scenarios, caching scenario specifically that he had idea. I mean, he has on his mind. Uh, Marcelo, I was just curious, like, do you want to talk about that, or if you're not ready, it's also okay. We can talk later since we were chatting earlier, right?
Sure. Hello, guys. Sorry, I joined too late, so I picked the meeting in the middle. I hope next time I'll join from the beginning. And I'm also from Microsoft. Uh, I work on the case team, and we have been having performance issues. Basically, we have very big clusters and some customers having deployments, for example, with more than 1K replicas and each one having 10 secrets or something like that. And that led to us being throttled by the Azure Key Vault. And on a previous meeting with Nilek and some other folks from my team, we talked about some ideas. We didn't went in details looking how hard would that be to make these changes in code. But basically, the idea that I was thinking is the following: secrets in our cases doesn't change so often. For example, not even once in a day, maybe once in a month or twice in a month. So having the driver polling the Azure Key Vault for every pod was uh, was floating the Azure Key Vault, and the idea that I was sharing, if we can have something like a cluster level cache just to check if the secret has changed or not. And in case the secret has not changed, we won't need to make every node goes check it again. But if the secret has changed, we let each node do the fetch the secret. But otherwise, we would avoid making a lot of unneeded requests. What do you guys think about this idea?
So the driver is expected to run on every single node, and they don't have knowledge of each other, right? It's a node specific process. And I think if you're talking about a cluster level cache, my other question would be why not just use the secret store sync controller, use the Kubernetes secret as the cluster level cache, and mount that into each pod that you need.
We are exploring this idea as well. Uh, Yesterday and today, I was just doing that, and also playing with the external secret operator. Uh, but right now, our implementation, all the applications that are deployed on our clusters are based on something called shared ham shards, and they are implemented on top of the CSI. So I see that that's is a node it's a node level thing. The idea was I don't know, maybe it is a very big change in the design of the CSI, so maybe it's not feasible. But the idea was to have a cache just to verify if it changes or not at cluster level, and if it doesn't change, the nodes wouldn't need to go to the Azure Key Vault. So you would be able to cut a lot of requests by having this, let me say, it's a map of true or false, uh, if the secret has changed or not. This cache wouldn't have the secret itself, just the flag saying if it has changed or not. And if not, it wouldn't require all nodes to fetch the Azure Key Vault.
But but how would you figure it out whether the secret has changed or not, right? The way currently it works is the provider calls the key vault, get the secrets, and then check the versions that we already have on uh, secret provider class pod status in the driver scenario, or like hash in the controller scenario, and then we decide whether it needs an update or not. But having, I mean, instead of not reaching like key vault, how are you proposing we will know whether it is changed or not?
Honestly, I didn't went further look into the code and etc. for that. Was
I see.
just
Okay. No
an
worries. It's
idea.
it's fine. What we can do is maybe I know like we are already talking offline. Maybe we can keep working on this and uh, like we can have offline things as well. I can provide you more context as to what the current flow is and certain decisions that we have made.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
You okay with that
Is
one?
the sorry?
Feel okay with that one for now then?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Marcelo and I, we are already working offline. So I asked him to sort of join a community call and just bring up the topic to see like what other folks thinks about it and uh, just get a general opinion.
All right. That hits all our topics. Took a few notes on one of them. I think we got pretty good comments on the other PRs and things, so I don't know if we really need more here. Um, One action item, then other conversations spun out. So do we want to take, it says take the review issues with leftover time. Do we want to hit any of these three since we have about 16, 18 minutes left? 18.
Yeah, we can let's do that.
Preference or start with the test grids?
Let's just go with order, I guess.
All right. I've not clicked this link yet, so this will be fun.
Yeah, I think it looks fine.
Yeah, greens and few purple flakies, but
Yeah, I mean the Azure one's flaky. Azure AWS one flakes mostly I've seen is because of quota limits and stuff like that, because we literally share the same subscription for like all the repos.
mm, not too much we can do about that then.
Yeah.
Um, Windows, AWS Azure. Well, okay, cool. Seems like not much to do there. Then any whoop, new open issues that we need to go through.
I haven't seen any pressing issues on the driver lately that probably we would need to discuss. But I think I can see like some of the like 1647, right? Those things are already being taken care of as our ongoing discussion.
Hmm. And we got this one made for our
Can you
conversation.
assign this to me? I don't think I could assign that to myself. Can you assign this to me, the first one?
I don't know if I have the ability to do assigning.
I think Abhijit, you might be able to do it. How did you do it? You just have to do
Uh,
slash assign and it'll work.
okay,
Yeah,
let me try that.
Because if you're not an org member, we can't assign you. You can only assign
right.
yourself.
Okay,
There you
yeah.
go.
So I was trying from the UI.
Ah,
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
Oh, maybe I can give you like there is this command. Uh, there are like different commands that you can use for CSI driver. Mostly they're same across the Kubernetes repos, but here is the link if anybody wants that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Awesome. Does that mean we want to move on from this then too?
Uh, yeah, yes, but I was also thinking maybe next time we can also add the sync controllers issues and PR list in there. Basically all three, but for uh, sync controller too. But from the sync controller perspective, I think everything that needs to be discussed is being discussed. So I'm not worried about that. Like there are few PRs open that we need to like I need to review, and then we can plan basically V0.0.2.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We can add those and bump this a little bigger. Is there a test grid also for it? I assume so.
Yeah, I mean, I have like when we set up the job, right? I have created the similar test dashboard.
That actually, could you get to it from tab, CSI driver?
So if you look at that, right, there is a sync controller right below the, but there should be
That one.
an Uber level. Yeah, I think this is the.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll add that now. Uh, you can do the rest later. Do you want to hit the issues and PRs for sync controller also?
I mean, ideally we should add that here so that we can take a look. I think what we can do is, Ben, instead of adding it here, there is a template right above the doc. Maybe you should add it here because we just copy paste that template every time we create a like a new section for the date.
To the template above. Okay, I'll do that after the meeting. That's fine. You don't all need to watch me sit and copy paste links around in a recording. That's kind of boring. But happy to do that.
Thanks.
Should we hit the issues and PRs in for it now too for a quick look, or do we feel like you already have
Yeah,
that?
let's take a look at the issues for the controller real quick.
Interesting. Hello, internet. Okay, there we go. Issues real fast.
Uh, oh, that is interesting, the first one.
Yeah.
But could you open that? Oh yeah, I think these are like easy to fix. Oh,
PR
these
fix.
also had a PR already. Cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Yep, that doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, when we were cutting the first release, the first alpha release, right? We had to do some changes for the names and stuff so that when we published image, the like the OSS image, like we got some recommendation in the test and stuff. So I had to
Hmm.
update it, but maybe we need to update our docs also.
Makes sense. Yeah, good for clarity. Okay. Uh, any other number
Yeah, I
reconciles? I
think
think about
right.
this.
I think issue wise, we are good. Like we have already sort of triaged thing. I'm just curious if we can if we go to the issues, let's go to milestone ones. I'm curious what we have for v0.0.2 and what we need to finish. Could you open the 0.0.2 first
002.
one? Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So capabilities PR is fine. That we will do. Work with GK. I think most of them we have a PR. The second last issue I think that will get fixed with the capabilities PR itself.
With the which
Could,
PR?
could, could, the one
Click.
about that, the issue that you have opened, right? This one Anish has created, right? So Omar has a PR. So I think either Omar or Alex. Like, Alex, did you get a chance to look at the issue?
I couldn't replicate the issue because, like I said, there were a whole bunch of pipelines and only one of them was failing with the right issue. So,
So what you can do is to replicate that on your local, right? In our make file, we have a kind node image version.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
I,
you
I
can try
did do
with that.
that, but it's picking the actual right version. It's gonna get it to trigger that installation failed error, because most of the time it failed with other errors, like in the pipeline runs thing. Yeah. I just need to pick the right one. Because if you look, there's like 10 pipeline runs with different versions, and only one
Right.
of them had that error.
So right. So here is the trick. When I updated the test grid, right, it also maintained the older test grid versions. So I think I have already given you the latest PR or the versions that has the test grid versions that we are using. So what you can do is try to validate with only those four versions on your local and see if it is still failing, and we can like take action accordingly.
Sure.
Does that make sense here? But my gut is I'm not sure why it was failing for 128, but it was definitely failing for 127 because WAP was alpha back then. In 128 and 129, it was beta, and we were correctly assigning it while we create the kind cluster. My only guess is when I was looking at this, that depending upon which version it is, like 128, 29 versus 30 onwards, we might need to set the right flag when we create the kind cluster. So that's the only modification we would need if it's still failing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think the remaining two is still on me. Like I'm just trying to get some time to work on the status condition logic that we have, like the first one in here. Right. So whenever like when I was doing the alpha release also, like we had some uh bug that I found about the status. So I thought it might be a good idea to just like take like a holistic look on that. I'll do that. Oh, this might not be actually. Oh, this. Okay. I think I'll take a look at it. I'm not able to recollect now.
Okay. Um, Seems like we might be good.
Yeah, I think we are good. I'm trying to think when we can plan the date for this. I think we can target probably mid uh, November for the second alpha release.
Put that under announcements or action, would be
Yeah, we can put under notes maybe.
be 0.2, or was it 2.0? It was
No,
two. Okay.
that's correct. You're right.
I'll link it to for good measure.
Cool.
All right, yeah. Good conversation. Appreciate it, everyone. Any last
Cool.
thoughts, or should we call it good?
Good.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. Again. Bye.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.